So today we will talk all about Polkadot. In the next 2 to 4 months, Polkadot is about to have some massive volatility because in October there will be $400 million worth of DOT tokens coming to the market from the Parachain Auctions back in 2021. But right after this token unlock, we will also have the Polkadot 2.0 upgrade, which changes the network completely and does away the Parachain loans model and instead adopts something new that's much more liquid and drives more volume. So today, we will cover all about Polkadot's future in the next 2 months to the next year. And I'll give you my trading plan for this short-term unlock, but also for the medium to long-term outlook for Polkadot 2.0. Okay. So, welcome back to the Virtual Bacon channel. If you're new here, my name is Dennis. I'm a crypto angel investor for the past 5 years, and I have invested in over 100 companies. On this channel, I share my views on market trends and investing strategy to build wealth in crypto. Okay, so let's first get into how Polkadot actually works. So, Polkadot is an ecosystem of blockchains. The core Polkadot blockchain is called the relay chain, while if you want to become an interoperable subchain within the Polkadot ecosystem, then you become what's called a parachain. Here is a diagram showcasing this. So in the middle here, the relay chain, this is the Polkadot main network. And then each of these little hubs is essentially a relay chain. So these are projects like Astar, Moonbeam, Akala, Centrifuge. These are projects you're probably familiar with. And in order for Polkadot parachains to talk to other layer 1 networks like Ethereum or Solana, they have to build their own bridges. And thus, this is why Polkadot is have long been called a kind of closed ecosystem. Even though it is interoperable, at its core, Polkadot still sits right in the middle. And then in order for its ecosystem projects to talk to other native blockchains, they have to build their own bridges. So these parachains are, at the end of the day, still individual blockchains running in parallel with the Polkadot ecosystem. So today, the Polkadot architecture consists of up to 100 parachains, all connected to this middle relay chain. And these parachains can interact and exchange data and assets within each other within the system. So parachains that are attached to the Polkadot relay chain can be similar to ERC20 tokens or other more advanced smart contracts on Ethereum. They can have their own consensus mechanisms and can have their own tokens. So it's more like an app chain that sits on top of Ethereum. And they tend to have a specific purpose. So instead of pure token-based projects on Ethereum, think of it like a Chainlink network where the main token used to be an ERC20 token, but later on it had extended functionality with their own nodes and own validators. So how do projects become a Polkadot parachain? Why was this so hyped up, this parachain idea? Well, it was all because of these parachain slot auctions, which happened back in 2021. So Polkadot connects to, these parachains connect to Polkadot by leasing a slot on the main relay chain for up to 96 weeks at a time, and they have the option to renew. So what happens is these parachain slots are assigned by an on-chain auction, where the auction winners have to buy up some form of DOT tokens and lock it up for the entire 96 weeks duration of the lease. So this is why a lot of projects had to raise a lot of money in order to join the Polkadot ecosystem. So this brought about the idea of a parachain Crowdloan. So a Crowdloan simply means that in order for one of these top projects like Moonbeam, Akala, Parallel, Astar, etc., to join the Polkadot ecosystem, they didn't need to put up all of the money, millions of dollars, in order to join the Polkadot ecosystem. Rather, they could do a Crowdloan where they collect DOT tokens from their early community members, and then in exchange, these people lend them their DOT. And for example, Moonbeam gives back their Glimmer token to their Crowdloan participants. So it's almost like a crowd-run fundraise or almost like ICO. But in the case of Crowdloan, what's cool was that for Moonbeam's example, Moonbeam gave out a lot of their Glimmer tokens to people that lended them the DOT, but these people will get their DOT tokens back after this 2-year bonding period ends. So these are essentially what Crowdloans are. And at the end of a certain Crowdloan auction period, the projects with the highest amount of DOT that they can contribute wins the slot and essentially becomes a Polkadot parachain. And on this list, you can see all of the past auctions that happened on Polkadot. So we have these 5 winners back in, let's see, this was back in December 17, 2021. And then there were many more auctions that continue to run until today. So if a project wins an auction, then the whole project gets their DOT tokens bonded on the main Polkadot relay chain. Essentially, it becomes locked, staked. And then after the 48 to 96 weeks, the DOT tokens again becomes available to the market. So if you contributed to the Moonbeam Crowdloan, very soon you'll get your DOT tokens back that you can sell on the market. And similarly, Moonbeam themselves, whatever amount that they contributed to get their parachain slot, they will get that amount back as well. So this is the large sell pressure that we are looking at. So a couple of rough numbers here. This is auction number 1 to 5, which were the largest ones, essentially the top 5 projects that have ever launched on Polkadot. So you see here we have Moonbeam, Acala, Parallel, Astar, and Clover Finance. And you see here Moonbeam managed to gather 35 million DOT, which is worth $147 million today. Acala, 32 million DOT, 133 million, Parallel, 10 million DOT, etc. So you see the first batch of Polkadot Crowdloan auctions gathered a total of 113 million DOT, which is worth $467 million today. And these amounts, when are they locked up? So you see down here, auctions number 1 to number 5 all had this same leasing period, which started in December 2021 and ends on October 24th, 2023, which is about 1 month from now. This means in 1 month on October 24th, all $467 million worth of DOT tokens will be coming to the market. And these are not, private investors. A lot of these are actually contributed from early participants, Crowdloan participants that lended their money to these Polkadot projects. And because the whole Polkadot ecosystem has gone down so much, and because it's a bear market and a lot of people need liquidity, people are expecting these token amounts to be sold. So I think this actually will be pretty significant, considering it is on one day, $467 million of DOT will be unlocked. So this is not like a VC unlock that have vesting, etc. These are real retail investors that have, here Clover has 5,000 individuals contributing, Parallel Finance 4,000, Astar 27,000, Moonbeam 48,000, Acala 24,000. So over 100,000 people contributed to a total of over $460 million. So these are not just a few entities. In fact, it's many retail investors. So retail investors in a bear market, I think they most likely will want their money back. So this is the big unlock event that a lot of people are talking about for Polkadot, and this is the main worry. Now, how big is this effect actually for the long term? So I did a bit of Google Sheets calculation here. So because these auctions kept running from late 2021 to today, there are actually many auctions. And the good thing is that only the first auctions were super hyped up. As the auctions got onto the later stages, the projects became smaller and smaller because they couldn't compete for the first slots. and hence their Crowdloan amounts wasn't that high. So I gathered the whole amounts here. Basically, there have been 7 batches of Parachain auctions that have happened until today. And here are all of their unlock dates. So they date from October 24th until August 2025. And you see here, the largest dot amount were only in the first and second Crowdloan periods. So the first one had $450 million contributed. The second one only had $122 million, which is still a large amount. But you see by the third auction batch, there was only $20 million. And then after the fourth, it was only around 2 to 3 million contributed every few months. So these are no longer significant. So graphing that, right, in this column chart, we see that it becomes much more clear. So this is the total amount of Polkadot Parachain auction amounts of DOT tokens that will be released for the next 2 years. And you see, by far, the largest unlock is on this October 24th, 2023. So $453 million. And by the second one, January 16th, there's still some decent sell pressure. But I would say by April 2024, the sell pressure wouldn't be significant anymore. So 20 million over 3 months is nothing. Polkadot has 100 million trading volume per day. So majority of the sell pressure will come between October of this year to January. And that's it. So that's basically the takeaway. There is basically 2 large unlocks happening in October and in January, but after that, the FUD it will most likely be over. So now that we know about the FUD, is it all bearish for Polkadot from now? Is Polkadot completely dead? Is the price just going to crash to zero? Well, I don't think so, because there is also a large update coming to Polkadot, and that is with Polkadot 2.0. So Polkadot 2.0 is actually a very significant upgrade coming to the network that is completely changing how these parachain auctions work, how projects can join the Polkadot ecosystem, and more importantly, the tokenomics. So here is a full breakdown of Polkadot 2.0. So essentially, this was first introduced by Polkadot's founder, Gavin Wood, back in June this year. And the goal is to replace the lease-based model of the parachains to a more pay-as-you-go model that is based on what they call core time, or processing cores instead to replace these parachain slots. And essentially, before Polkadot 2.0, in order to join Polkadot, you have to go through this parachain auction process. You have to have a lot of money support, at least a few $1 million, in order to even get one of these slots, to bid for one of these slots. And once you get one, you have to commit for 2 years. The DOT is completely locked up. But once Polkadot 2.0 comes out, what happens is, even for smaller projects, they can pay a little bit of DOT and just rent that kind of processing power on the Polkadot relay chain for as short as 1 month. And it wouldn't cost millions of dollars. It would cost maybe like $50,000, $100,000. I'm not sure the exact amount, but it's going to be much less and much more accessible for smaller teams. So basically, this is the main upgrade. And here is Polkadot's founder, Gavin Wood, officially presenting this earlier this year. So I'll just quote you on some of the things he said. So he said Polkadot 2.0 will use a new system for allocating block space. The system will be more flexible than the current lease model, allowing developers to buy block space as they need, either in bulk or on demand. So this, according to the developer himself, would make it easier for new projects to enter the Polkadot ecosystem. And this change will also make Polkadot more attractive to Web2 businesses adopting Web3 frameworks. So think about if you're building a SaaS company, you wouldn't have millions of dollars. You wouldn't want to build your own chain for a very long time. You just want to pay as you go, kind of like renting a cloud resource. And this is what Polkadot 2.0 does. So this is actually a major milestone because it significantly changes the core core consensus, core promise of Polkadot. It's not just like a 2.0 periodic upgrade. It's revolutionizing the whole thing. And let's see here. He also noted that the new system could increase the liquidity for the Polkadot coin itself by reducing the token lockup periods and introducing more trading volume. So we'll get into the tokenomics in a bit. And here is kind of a side-by-side comparison between Polkadot 1.0 and Polkadot 2.0. So you see, first of all, how the processing power on Polkadot is allocated. In the 1.0 version, it's these slot leasing. It takes 2 years. You have to stay there for 2 years. In Polkadot 2.0, it becomes a cumulative asset. It becomes tradable. So you can buy like 1 month worth of processing power or 2 months worth of processing power, and you can choose to spend it however you want. And when you're not using that processing power, it's not spent. So it's much more cost efficient. The duration here, usually it's 6 to 24 months. Here it is fluid, so as short as 1 month. And then the access to a parachain. So you see, before it was granted to a specific slot, there are only up to 100 projects onboarded to Polkadot in the past 2 years. But in this new version, they're actually looking to onboard 500 to 1,000 cores. And these are going to be much cheaper prices to get into. And you see here, slot lease through an auction, bulk versus bulk acquisition. Basically the same things. So let's see what else is good here. This also is a really good comparison. Again, side by side. So the Polkadot 1.0 version was called the Polkadot Relay Chain, right? The main Polkadot chain is the Relay Chain. Polkadot 2.0 has the alternate name called Agile Polkadot. It's just way more flexible. So 1.0's version was a network of sharing the infrastructure and security, but with these kind of forked chains that are all within the same ecosystem. 2.0 is turning into a block space of apps. So it's more like app chains and way less barrier of entry. And you see, this is important. In the Polkadot 1.0 version, there were only 50 cores, so essentially 50 projects. Polkadot 2.0 has 500 to 1,000 cores. I'm not sure how they were dedicating these 50 cores to up to 100 slot auction winners. So based on the auction numbers that we saw earlier from here, yes, I believe there's not 100 live projects today. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so there were 9 auctions and each time had 5 winners, right? So there were only 50 parachains live. And in the Polkadot 2.0 version, this is going to be quickly expanded to 500 to 1,000. So there's going to be at least the capability to handle 500 to 1,000 app chain projects, much smaller project teams. And they're all by rental model. Okay, so let's see. Let's talk about launch period. Right, this is also important. So here is a bit of speculation that people put together. So basically, Gavin Wood himself has already pushed tens of thousands of lines of code for Polkadot 2.0 with other devs. And people dug into the commit history of his. So Gavin Wood basically said that the 2.0 version, the technology, the code of it should be implemented and deployed within 3 months. And he said this on August 12th of this year, which means the earliest timeline that he's seeing for the code to be ready is about November 12th of this year. Now, obviously, Polkadot still has to go through a governance process in order to go through with the upgrade. So the tech will probably be ready end of this year, but the actual upgrade and the publication of it and the big news release will probably come earlier next year. So this is the timeline that we're looking at. Okay. Lastly, what is the effect this will have on the DOT token itself? Will this be just another sell the news event, or does this have long-term effects? So here on this breakdown on Cointelegraph, you see that here, to benefit holders and boost DOT's value, entities with surplus core time may sell it. As a result, the secondary market value of DOT might grow. So this is to boost the trading volume. Essentially, because all of these core time rentals will be paid, first of all, paid in DOT, and secondly, will be constantly transacted in DOT. This would boost the trading volume for DOT and boost the liquidity. So this is the number one thing. Number two, revenue from the core time sales will be channeled into the Polkadot treasury, and DOT token holders can decide how the treasury funds are distributed through governance. The treasury spend is fluid, and they might also periodically burn these DOT tokens, which makes the token deflationary. So this is not set in stone yet. There isn't any full tokenomics release coming from the Web3 Foundation, but I dug into the code base of Polkadot's GitHub. So here you see this is a commit history on Polkadot's GitHub, and from back in July, contributors from Web3 Foundation have already started these discussions. Basically, should they be burning the revenue from these core time sales? So whenever the Polkadot relay chain sells these core time, these processing time to project teams, and they get the DOT tokens into this process, do they collect that money and put it into the treasury? Or maybe they should just burn the revenue from these sales. So there has been a lot of discussion on both sides, but personally, I think given how poorly that DOT's price has been performing for the past year, I really hope that they go through with this burning process. Because if they were managing their treasury well, if they were controlling the sell pressure well, DOT's price shouldn't have acted like this, to be honest. So I ideally like to see much more transparent burning, where we can have a live dashboard tracking how many cores are being sold on the Polkadot, this Polkadot 2.0 process, onboarding new projects, and then subsequently, when those DOT tokens come in, are they actually getting burned? And maybe there's a dashboard tracking, how much is getting burned and how much, extra DOT is taking out of circulation, and thus driving up the price demand. So this is something that's still in discussion, but definitely good direction to see. Obviously, this is already way better than before, where there was just one big hype period around the slot auctions, but prices just has been going down only for the past 2 years. That's not ideal. We want longer term sustainability, and this is what they're driving towards. So with these discussions. Okay, lastly, let's talk about the Polkadot price. So as you can see here, late 2021, around December 2021, this was when the slot auctions were first going down. And you see Polkadot had this massive second rally coinciding with the bull market top, but prices dropped since from $50 at the all-time high to under, only at $4 now. So more than 95%, 96, 97% drop. Pretty dramatic. Now, something good to note, at least, is that majority of the Polkadot supply, aside from this amount to be unlocked from the parachains, are already circulating. So you see, out of the 1.35 billion DOT tokens, 1.27 billion is already circulating. So majority of the sell pressure coming from the early investors and the team members are already gone. There's essentially 90% circulating, very healthy. This is one of the good things for a coin that launched early in the last bull market in 2020. Now, looking at DOT's price, and let's just map out the couple events here on the chart. So number one, we have the October 24th date right here. So October 24th is when the first major unlocks will happen. Here you go. Yeah, October 24th. On this date, $467 million worth of DOT will be unlocked. And then again on January 16th, let's map that out. January 16th, we have another major unlock right here. And then the bullish thing for Polkadot 2.0's release probably after here, right? So this means from now until early January, there's probably going to be a lot of sell pressure coming for Polkadot. So keep these two periods in mind. Once dates get into this range, there's going to be a lot of sell pressure. So that's the first thing. So looking at DOT's current price, we are basically sitting at all-time low support. So as long as we don't consider, the initial launch hype, which only happened in the first week, basically the only support level we have that's the lowest level for Polkadot is at $4. So you see this little blue area that I drew, which is between $3.90 to around $4.20. So this is essentially the all-time low support here, which means if Polkadot actually breaks below $3.90, it would look really bad for DOT itself, because this is essentially would be negative price discovery. So that's the kind of the first thing I'm watching. So even though DOT is getting quite low, you can say it's testing all-time low here. I don't think we are likely to see a bounce right from $4 here. In fact, because these sell pressure events are still coming between November and January, what I'm expecting is more like price to break below $4, come up to retest it, but drop kind of way below that and start some sort of negative price discovery here. So if this happens, my immediate short-term trade plan would be to watch for this $4 breakdown. If $4 doesn't hold, I'm going to be looking to short DOT once it retests at $4. Because there are two things matching, right? Number one is this retest of this previous all-time low, which is very key support that we cannot break. And secondly is this period that we still know there's about 3 months of bearishness that could come from this unlock. So that gives me enough confidence to say DOT's probably going to have a pretty bad 3-4 months or so. Now, does this mean DOT is completely dead? I also don't think that's likely. So I think a short play is only in for the very short term. Now, once we get past January 16th, this unlock finishes, and then Polkadot 2.0 gets announced. They changed their branding. They announced the full tokenomics. Maybe there's token burn coming in. I think there's actually going to be a new wave of bullishness coming from this next 3 months of price crash. So in that case, I think first I can try to play this short, and once price settles and we get into late January, early February, I'm going to be looking to pick up DOT at a lower capitulation price. Because honestly, Polkadot has been super heavily suppressed for 2 years. Rightly so, because they haven't been doing anything. But this Polkadot 2.0 upgrade is pretty significant. So even if it's something like a Cosmos 2.0, Atom 2.0 upgrade, which did drive Atom's price up for 2 to 3 months, I think that could easily happen for DOT. So late January, early February, until maybe until maybe April, May-ish, I think that could be a bullish period for DOT. So that's why my second play here is going to be waiting for this capitulation, whatever that may look like, by late January, and then picking it back up and riding this at maybe 2 to 3 months wave up. After that, what's going to happen, I really don't know. Is DOT still going to be a serious contender for 1 to 2 years into the next bull market? I think that's very hard to say. Just given everything that I've seen so far from the Polkadot 2.0 upgrade, it's not significant enough to compete with Ethereum or even Solana, to be honest. So I'm still not looking to hold DOT long term, but I think this is definitely worth having for the Polkadot 2.0 hype period when the news gets released. And because we're covering this very early, I think there's a solid trade opportunity here coming in late January. So that's what I'm looking at. Looking to try to find a short position on this breakdown for the next 2 to 3 months. And then after that, once Polkadot 2.0 comes up in Q1 2024, looking to find a long position off of the capitulation. So that's my plan for Polkadot. No price levels yet right now. Only thing to watch is $4. So we don't know what the capitulation price might be, but if $4 breaks, it should head to much lower. $3, $2, all possible. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's everything I have prepared for Polkadot. And if you want to follow my trades on Polkadot, make sure to check out my copy trade program on Fairdesk. So here on virtualbacon.com, you can find an referral link to Fairdesk where I am set up as a copy trader. So I'm going to be doing my Polkadot trades on here, and you can just directly copy my trades. You can copy all my position size, stop loss, leverage, etc. And you get a deposit bonus as part of our partnership with Fairdesk. And also make sure to join our Telegram group. And also on here, we're going to launch our Discord very soon, where I will be updating my trades as we go. So you guys can fully understand, what I'm thinking.